And I grew up here in Texas. This is quite an honor.
In your sister's room, that's where it started.
Hello, this is Paul.
This is Laura.
And I'm Alton.
We are Team Derringer.
And you are listening to Derringer Discoveries,
where we take you, the listener, on an adventure.
a music adventure.
Listeners, a number of you may not know what we mean when we say the word spoon, S-P-O-O-N. You might think that we're talking about one of the three key utensils with which we eat, the knife, the fork, and the spoon.
Picture yourself in the living room.
But we are talking about the Austin, Texas-based indie rock band Spoon, featuring Britt Daniel. He's the singer, principal songwriter, and guitarist, and Jim Eno on drums.
Your pipe and slippers set out for you.
That's right, Paul. We're dishing out the essentials on Spoon today. The band Spoon formed in 1993.
I know you think that it ain't too far.
While Britt Daniel and Jim Eno have been the steady heartbeat of the band, they cycled through nearly a dozen other members along the way.
But I hear a call of a lifetime ring.
As of this recording, Spoon has over 1.4 million monthly listeners, so they're definitely able to draw a crowd if they show up in your town.
Oh, you cut out the middleman.
Listeners, Laura Derringer is not with us today.
Playing hooky again?
She is. She's listening, though. I can tell you that. She's listening. In her place, we have a regular listener and a rock recording artist from Durham, North Carolina. His name is Dan Friedman.
I see all of the signs.
Dan, welcome to the podcast. Would you say hello to our listeners and introduce yourself, or should I say reintroduce yourself?
Hello, listeners. I'm Dan Friedman. First, I want to say how much I love the Derringer Discoveries podcast as both a participant and a listener. The sense of musical adventure is really infectious for me. I just wanted to thank you for having me on. And a little bit about myself. Like you said, I'm based in Durham, North Carolina. I've lived around the country, though. You can find my tunes on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere else you stream or buy music. And like you said, I make indie rock. That's my game.
So listeners, Derringer Discoveries previously featured Dan in episode 69.
What's left anymore too high? 'Cause we've said it 1,000 times that this ship is headed toward demise.
And Dan, now you're back. This is the time to talk about the indie rock band Spoon.
You got no fear of the underdog.
But you're also here to talk about the Music and Planet Project, which I believe was formerly called the Green Music Program. Can you remind our listeners of the Music and Planet Project's objectives?
Yeah, so we're a collective of musicians that engages in environmental sustainability, whether it's through our music lives or our daily lives or our communities. I started the project in 2024.
I wanna forget how prevention fits.
There's artists from all over the world engaging in environmental action. And last year, as you know well, we raised over $2,000 through our Planting for the Future fundraiser concert that went toward different urban tree plantings in the UK and here in North Carolina. And you guys were a huge part of that. You sponsored the event, so it wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you again for your support.
I try, but I can't let go of it.
We're really just a hub for kind of the intersection of music and environment, and that's probably the simplest way to put it.
Can't let go of it. 'Cause you don't talk to the water boy.
Glad to be part of this, Dan.
Yeah, very worthy cause.
And it's nice that you came back to us with your next project.
Got no fear of the underdog. That's why you will not survive.
You are listening to Derringer Discoveries.
With listeners in more than 30 countries.
Hi, this is Rick from Columbus, Ohio, and just absolutely love listening to Derringer Discovery.
Hello, listeners. This is Gabrielle Ornate from Suffolk, United Kingdom. I enjoy listening to Derringer Discoveries.
I know our listeners want to know. They want to know, Dan, should they be listening to you talking about Spoon? So the question I have for you is, when did you first start listening to the indie rock band Spoon?
So I first started listening to Spoon, I think, when I was in about middle school, and I'm turning 31 in about a week or two here, so that is scarily almost 20 years ago.
I wanna change your mind.
I got an iPod mini sometime around that. It was my first really form of having music other than CDs. My brother, who's a little bit older than me, had already been amassing this big library of music on iTunes, and I downloaded that whole library onto my iPod as soon as I got it. A bunch of the Spoon albums were on there.
I'm looking through you.
Gimme Fiction was really the album that got me started on Spoon and that made me a fan from the beginning. And I think that's the case for a lot of Spoon fans. It's a legendary album in the community.
You know who you are.
Packed cover to cover with hits, not like Beyonce level hits, but hits in the sense that I think of. There's just not a bad song on there.
The planted for the apocalypses, not consider cool.
Dan, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so much and 10 being an outright fanatic, how big a Spoon fan are you?
Definitely an outright fanatic. If I can score higher than 10, I would give myself 11 or 15 or 20 if I could.
All right, yeah.
So if you knew Spoon's address, you would like be hanging out in front of their house?
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to them. Although, that's tough to say. I've seen them 3 times live.
Wow.
If I could have, I would have gone more. It's just there's always been something that comes up whenever they're in town. But I'm going for a 4th time this fall. I grew up in New Jersey, and my family and I would go to shows in New York. My first Spoon show was at Radio City Music Hall. My whole family was there. We're all fans. We'd listen to Spoon in the car. I was about 15, I think, at the time, 15 or 16.
I'm gonna get it right one of these days.
I saw them again in 2014, Central Park Summer Stage, and then 2017, which was not long after I moved to Texas, where I lived for a while, at Austin City Limits in their hometown.
And I grew up here in Texas. This is quite an honor.
And cool story there, Jim Eno, the drummer, at the end of the show, throws out his drumstick into the crowd, and my wife, who was girlfriend at the time, caught the drumstick. So we have a drumstick from Jim Eno himself.
And I'm looking through you.
And then I'll be going again this fall when they open for the Pixies in Raleigh.
Listeners, Dan Friedman, today's special guest, wrote to us and requested to talk about the band Spoon, which is what we're doing. We responded, and we requested for Dan to tell us his top 3 favorite songs by Spoon. And if you like what you hear, and if you're a recording artist, we actually have a playlist for Spoon lovers and people who are inspired by Spoon. All you have to do is write us at feedback@derringerdiscoveries.com, and as long as it meets the criteria, it has to be good quality and it has to be somewhat in the ballpark of a Spoon song, but as long as it meets those 2 criteria, you'll most likely get it on the playlist.
Picture yourself in a living room.
The name Spoon was chosen by the band in honor of a musical group from Germany named Can, and that's C-A-N, all in caps. Can had a hit in Germany in 1972 with a song called, you guessed it, Spoon. Paul, let's play a snippet or 2 of the song Spoon by the German band Can. With these snippets, I think you'll hear Can's influence ripple through Spoon's sound today.
Listeners, that's the song Spoon by the band Can, as Alton was talking about. The song was a top 10 hit in Germany, and actually since it was 1972, it was West Germany. It peaked at number 6. For people who are music enthusiasts, the version we're playing is a remastered version from 2004.
Dan, have you ever heard of the German band named Can and their hit Spoon?
Yes, I have, and I had heard that story as well. That took me back to checking out the band Can a little bit. I definitely think that was an influence for the band Spoon and their sound. You can hear it throughout the catalog. I thought about this. One of the things that makes Spoon Spoon is that they make the beat often very musical, and you also hear it in the song Spoon by Can. You know, the rhythm section has tone and timbre. It's got all these different funky sounds, percussive sounds and textures. It's not just like a toneless beat.
Life can be so fair.
Which I think in a lot of Western music is what we think of as the beat. It's not very musical. It doesn't have notes, and it's just there to establish rhythm. But you hear that in this song is that they make it very musical, and Spoon, the band, does this a lot throughout their catalog.
Blow out that cherry bomb.
Jim Jim Eno of Spoon. He's the drummer, and he's been with them from the beginning. He is more than just a drummer. He really is a key component of the Spoon sound.
We lost it long ago.
It's Jim Eno giving us a lot of textures.
And listeners, in case you're wondering, Jim Eno is no relation to Brian Eno.
Yeah, we checked it out just before the episode. Dan, before you reveal your number 3 favorite song by Spoon, I do have to get after you because you did not include in your top 3 Spoon's biggest hit song to date.
Picture yourself in a living room.
The song I'm referring to is The Underdog.
You got no fear of the underdog.
Written by Spoon's frontman, Britt Daniel. Released in 2007. In the U.S., it peaked at number 26 on the Billboard Alternative chart.
It was such a hit that Spoon got to perform The Underdog in 2007 on the 33rd season of Saturday Night Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spoon!
The Underdog has also been featured in a number of movies, one of which was 17 Again, released in 2009 and starred Zac Efron.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Mike O'Donnell is at an age when life seems to have passed him by.
Bet you wish you had it to do all over again.
You got that right.
Starred Zac Efron. Great movie. Dan, how do you feel about The Underdog? You didn't make it one of your top 3, but would it make one of your top 10?
I think it probably would. You know, it's so hard for me. There's so many Spoon songs that I love, especially on that album. Every song is like a top song for me from the Gaga album.
Got no fear of the underdog.
Got the horns, man. The horns do it for me. I love that.
The horns are very catchy.
Sealed the deal.
That's why you will not survive.
Listeners, that was Dan Friedman dishing on Spoon.
Hi guys, this is Victoria Beebe, recording artist from the UK, and I am an honorary Derringer.
Hey, this is DC from Kentucky, and I love Derringer Discoveries.
Hey, this is recording and performing artist Wilson Getchell from the band Thirsty Curses out of Raleigh, North Carolina. To be honest, I don't know what I'm doing, but I do know what you're doing. You're listening to Derringer Discoveries.
Special guest pick number 3.
Dan did not choose The Underdog for his top 3. Instead, for his pick number 3, his third favorite song by the band Spoon, Dan chose an album track, not a single, from Spoon's 5th studio album. The album is titled Give Me Fiction. It was released in 2005, 2 years before the album featuring The Underdog. Dan's number 3 choice is My Mathematical Mind.
I'm looking through you.
So my number 3 Spoon song is My Mathematical Mind. This was an absolute catharsis song for me as a teenager. It's one of those songs that just got me through all the things that teenagers go through.
You know who you are.
It's still a staple in my catalog. It's lived on in, my music library since, and I still go back to it.
The planet father, apocalypses, not consider cool.
But what I love about this song is that it's a heavy-hitting rock song without actually being heavy rock or metal or anything like that.
No, won't sweat.
And the song in general kind of revolves around an endlessly repeated piano riff. It's got just 2 notes. I think it's the octave on the G, and a constant fluctuation between 2 chords that are laid on top of it. They are masters, Spoon is, at building tension over the course of a song.
Bring it about the apocalypse, like consider cool, and you go settle it up.
In this song, they build it into a truly explosive ending. It's had an influence on my songwriting as well. They don't shy away from repeating a single riff, even as everything else in the song around that note or riff is changing. No one that I've found, at least, really does that kind of almost atonal guitar playing that is very uniquely Spoon.
Listeners, that's today's special guest, Dan Friedman's third favorite song so far, My Mathematical Mind by the band Spoon.
Hi, it's Estella Dawn. For a good time, listen to Derringer Discoveries.
Hi, this is Ed from Forest, Virginia. I love Derringer Discoveries.
Special guest pick number 2.
Listeners, Dan's number 2 pick is also a bit of a hidden treasure. It's the song called Take a Walk from Spoon's third studio album called Girls Can Tell, which was released in 2001.
Taking a walk with you.
The song marked a stylistic departure for Spoon, moving them into a classic rock and new wave realm.
Exactly.
In 2002, the album peaked at number 46 on the Billboard Top Independent Albums chart.
Take a walk.
At number 2, Dan chose the song Take a Walk, written by Britt Daniel. Dan, what is it about Take a Walk that puts it in your top 3 by Spoon?
Take a walk.
Take a Walk is just a classic 2-guitar attack. I've always loved the thickness of the guitar tone in this one. It's just a really nice, fat sound. As a guitarist myself, I'm always on the lookout for guitar tones that stand out for me in songs that I like and that I want to emulate. This song definitely has one of my favorite guitar tones. I grew up jamming with family members and friends in the bands that I was in, and I just love that feeling of the guitar and the drums playing off each other instead of feeling separate. And then this one's got more great guitar thrashing at the end of it too. Super signature Spoon. That's clearly a theme for me in my Spoon songs.
Listeners, for the album Girls Can Tell, Spoon's Britt Daniel was inspired by, you ready for this? The Kinks.
As long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset.
The Supremes. And Elvis Costello, with a particular focus on Elvis Costello's 1980 album, Get Happy.
Some things you never get used to.
Listeners, Girls Can Tell, the album featuring Take a Walk, marked a turning point for Spoon. It was a make-or-break moment for the band. Produced by Mike McCarthy, who would go on to produce 5 of Spoon's albums, Girls Can Tell helped redefine their sound and earned critical acclaim. In hindsight, it was a bold swing. You might say it was a musical Hail Mary. And had it not landed, well, we might not be talking about Spoon today. Listeners, you've just heard Take a Walk.
Take a walk.
Dan Friedman's pick for the number 2 spot on his list of favorite Spoon songs.
Jy luister na Derringer Discoveries, a musiekavontuur podcast.
Hey, this is Ben Arthur, the creator and host of Songwriter. I'm not only a past guest on Derringer Discoveries, but I'm also a subscriber. And if you love hearing great new music, you should be too.
Hello, listeners. This is Michael Daughtry. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, here in the United States. I enjoy listening to Derringer Discoveries.
Special guest, top choice, pick number 1.
Time's gone inside out.
Listeners, for his number 1 song by Spoon, number 1 so far, of course, Dan has chosen a song that was released as the 3rd single from Spoon's 8th studio album. Spoon has had 10, and this was from the 8th studio album released in 2014. The album is called They Want My Soul.
I don't got time for holy rollers.
Britt Daniel and Jim Eno promoted the album with a Facebook campaign that simply stated, Spoon, R.I.P.
And I won't be their soldier.
We see R.I.P. and we think rest in peace. They were implying a breakup, but no, they weren't breaking up. Instead, they were touting their new lead single, Rent I Pay, for R.I.P.
That's the rent I pay.
And that's the first single from the album, They Want My Soul. But this is not the song chosen by Dan as his number 1 song. The number 1 song is the 3rd single. It's called Inside Out, written by Britt Daniel. It's also Spoon's most popular song on Spotify.
Time's gone inside out.
Dan, what is it about Inside Out that puts it at your number 1 spot by Spoon?
Oh man, it's their most popular song on Spotify.
Oh no! You're gonna change your answer.
I feel pretty lame now.
That's right. You got hitophobia there.
Like a proper Spoon fan, right? Inside Out is my first pick, and it's from their 2014 album, They Want My Soul, as you mentioned, which is where we start to see Spoon delve into a little more electronic sound, a little more synthesizer, more artificial digital sounds coming in. And I think this song really exemplifies that.
There's intense gravity.
Another thing about this song is that there is a single guitar note repeated through the entire song on the 2 and 4 of the beat.
Ooh, I know the time's gone inside inside out.
And this is just signature Spoon again. This frenetic energy, textures and flourishes.
And now it's only like I told you.
They throw these amazing textures on top that you can't find anyone else doing.
Yeah. Listeners, the album They Want My Soul, which features Dan's top pick Inside Out, earned near universal praise from music critics.
Yes.
The album charted in 7 countries, including Australia, the UK, Canada, and the United States.
Time's gone inside out.
In the US alone, it made an impressive showing. Number 4 on the Billboard 200, number 3 on the top rock albums chart, number 2 on the top alternative albums chart, and it topped the vinyl albums chart at number 1.
Ooh, I know the time's gone inside out.
So 4 charts in the US, and it was 4, 3, 2, 1. That almost sounds like you made it up, Alton.
But it says so right here.
Ooh, I know the time's gone inside out.
That was Inside Out by today's featured artist, Spoon, handpicked as the number 1 favorite by our special guest, Dan Friedman.
You are listening to Derringer Discoveries.
With listeners in more than 30 countries.
So Dan, you've walked us through your favorite Spoon tracks, but now it's time to flip the mic.
Tides are now rushing in.
You're a recording artist based in North Carolina and a familiar voice to us here at Derringer Discoveries.
Fall back to sink or swim.
Tell our listeners about 3 of your songs, and we'll cue up a few tasty snippets.
Nobody knows.
The first song I'll share is Broken Soul.
All I feel is broken soul.
As you can tell by the title, is about a period of depression I was going through. I couldn't kick it for a few years.
And soon I'm back in a funk.
I was really disillusioned by everything around me, and it really affected everyone around me as well. The song was written a bit after the fact, looking back at that period of time.
Yes, I love you. Nothing's more true.
And I think now, I hope it's a song that provides a sense of companionship to anyone else out there who's been through or is going through a battle with mental health.
All I feel is broken soul.
Listeners, that's Broken Soul by today's special guest, Dan Friedman.
Another song is Demise, which I put out recently in March.
I see all of the signs.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm an environmentalist. I have a job in this field as well. My day job outside of music is in the environmental world. And so I'm confronted 40 hours a week with the stark realities of our planet and the many crises we face.
This ship is headed towards demise.
Whether it's climate change, the decline of wildlife and wild spaces, the pollution of our lands and waters with forever chemicals. I'm always wrapped up in this stuff.
I keep nothing inside.
We are in a period of demise environmentally. I do think humanity will come to a crossroads where we have to make some deeper changes.
What's left anymore to hide?
But that's a conversation for another day. This is hopefully a rock song that may or may not make you feel worse or better about the environment.
'Cause we've said it 1,000 times that this ship is headed toward demise.
Listeners, that was Demise, a funk-laced jam from today's special guest, Dan Friedman.
All right, Dan, take us to one more song of yours.
My song Always, finally a positive one. This one is pretty obviously a love song. It's written for my wife, Anisha. We got married last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We met in 2014. I was just turning 20.
I know it's true.
I'd written songs about her before. This one is really the most direct.
I'll always be with you.
Anisha is both my rock and my inspiration, has been for so long. She's helped me get through so many of the tough things in life. She's someone who just really knows who she is and who she wants to be. And that has really helped me, put my despair into action, whether it's in music or in work or advocacy.
It's true. I'll always be with you.
She emanates positivity and love and joy, and I just wanted to write a song about that quality of hers, so you'll hear that in there as well.
That's the song Always by today's special guest, Dan Friedman.
Dan, we've stirred through a lot of great music today. Before we wrap, the mic is yours. Do you have any shout-outs to friends, family, or fans?
I've already shouted out a bunch of people from my life, and I don't want to go on and on about it, but I do want to also thank the other artists who are on the planning committee for the Music and Planet Project fundraiser this year, and it's Indigo Daydream, a gaze who we found through you guys, and Gabrielle or Nate. Thank you guys, all three of you, for helping to plan this fundraiser this year, and also to the rest of the artists from around the world for being part of this.
Nice.
I've been racking my brain. I was thinking, surely Dan is already a Derringer, but I couldn't find where we made you one, so we have to rectify that. Dan, this is the part where we give you the honor that you are now an honorary Derringer. Whatever you want, you can call yourself Dan Derringer.
Hey, that's got a ring to it.
I love it. I'm absolutely honored.
And there was much rejoicing.
Listeners, until next time, Laura Derringer is with us in spirit. I'm Paul Derringer.
I'm Alton Derringer.
I'm Dan Friedman, now an honorary Derringer.
This has been Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast. Song snippets were used in this episode to aid in the discussion, critique, and analysis of the songs. We encourage listeners to check out the artists discussed today. You can listen to their respective songs on most digital streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple.
Listeners, do you want more music adventures? Follow Derringer Discoveries on social media. We're at Derringer Discoveries on Facebook, at DerringerDiscoveries.com on Blue Sky, and at Derringer Pod on Instagram, X, and Threads. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. It's like a backstage pass, but with fewer sticky floors. Head to DerringerDiscoveries.com and join the journey today. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you again next time.
In your sister's room. That's where it started. In your sister's
Does anyone in North Carolina listen to Derringer Discoveries? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to redo that.
And we're not trying to be discriminatory against forks and knives inspired playlists. No. Just trying to keep with the theme of today's show.
Yeah, it's Spoon. No forks or knives. In the U.S., it peaked at number 26 on the Billboard Alternative chart. It was a legitimate hit. So the question is, well, maybe that's for Alton to ask.
You want to say that last line?
Okay, yeah.
Dan, what's your read on their near-death moment in Spoon's journey? Let me say that line again. Hang on. Yeah, and I had a engine start behind me. Could you hear it?
You guys rock.